Hi, everyone. So Sabrina couldn't be here this week because she has been traveling all over the world and we wish her well. I called her and I said, "What if I asked Sandy to join me?" And she said that would be a great idea because the point of the podcast is to talk about women and heroic women and strong women and women that do a lot of things. And there's nobody more heroic than Sandy, who has to live with my brother. So I want to bring on Sandy, who is not only my sister-in-law, but literally my sister and somebody I love and respect. And she is a wonderful mom, wonderful at her job. And thanks for filling in.
This is great. Thanks for having me. I'm always willing to chat with my Dori on
Oh,
any topic.
So, the funny thing about us, I work in a very male dominated industry. You work in a very female dominated industry. So I would love to hear some of those female type support relationships. And also you're clearly going to be really good at this because you're used to talking to lots of people in front of cameras and live, and you do a lot of recording. So why don't you tell people what you do?
Yes, so I work at Pampered Chef, which we make kitchen gadgets from knives to air fryers, blenders. It is a multi-level marketing type of business. Don't cringe because our products are really, really good. I know because I work in the kitchen with product development. I lead the culinary team. So we create all the culinary content or recipes, blogs, videos to help support our sales consultants and support those products. So when people buy them, they know what to do with them. But it's a really interesting model, I think, for kitchen products. Because if you go to Bed Bath & Beyond or Sur La Table, wherever you go and you just pick a product up and look at it, you might not know what to do with it. But with Pampered Chef, the consultants will have parties, whether they're live or virtual, and really show you how our products help make cooking easier and more fun. Of course, the mission is to bring folks around the table around mealtime. So that's really easy to stand behind. So I've been there 11 years. I lead the culinary team, which is really fun to lead a team. They all are women. And I love them so much. I have the best team. It's so interesting at this point to like become a coach and a leader, right? Like I feel like I've been hustling for so long and all of a sudden I'm the one with the wisdom, which is I get to do a lot of videos, product videos, recipe videos, live TV spots, live presentations to our field of consultants. And I guess what I would say, it's been a great skill to develop, right? Like no matter where I go, I could take this skill to be able to present live and cook live. Oh, we do live cooking shows too every
And
Tuesday.
you've even done local news.
Yes, so fun. But what I would say, what makes it fun is I'm passionate about what I'm talking about, right? I'm also a registered dietitian. So, cooking at home, cooking with whole foods, cooking for your family, eating around the table, these are all things that are so easy to be passionate about. So that's where I really shine. And I love cooking. I think I more love to teach people like to cook a little bit better. That's what I'm
Sure.
most passionate about. I don't like to cook desserts and stuff live on TV, although, all foods fit in moderation. I got started by one day, my boss was just like, I want you to present in front of, I don't know, it was 50 people, 100 people, and it was bad. It was not good. But I will say I was excited about what I was presenting. And I remember someone from the audience came up and just said, "Oh, I love how you get so excited." And that was genuine. You can't fake passion, right? You can't fake
Right.
authenticity. So when I train people on my team, when you public speak or do demonstration, it's about being yourself. I think when you succeed is when you see yourself. Like that's me being myself. That's not someone else, right? Giving a
Right.
talk or being interviewed. It's when you could really be yourself and be excited.
Right. And people see that authenticity and they know how you feel about it. You can't fake that. But you're doing a recipe. So you're following something and you're using the best product. So you could
Yeah.
talk about that. Like, I just don't feel comfortable getting up there and talking. But if you asked me a question, like, how'd you think of this campaign? What made you work with this particular product? And then I could talk about it. But I need prompting. I can't just say, "Oh, thank you for coming today, and I'm going to talk to you about this," and then my brain gets scrambled. I get
Well, that's
nervous.
where that's where the confidence comes in, right? You have to do it enough times. I
Right.
used to get nervous, my palms would get sweaty, my stomach would hurt. You know, I would have to have a little wine. Did you remember those? Yeah, I would have a
Oh, so the
wine
key to
spritzer,
success is drinking.
a little bit. But years and years pass, and then you realize, oh, I have the confidence to get up there and wing it, or be a little less prepared than I used to have to be. But yeah, it's fun.
So you mentioned mealtime and how important mealtime is. And with a young, very active child, how do you have mealtime? Do you always have mealtime?
We tried to. So he has hockey practice almost every night, and he comes home late. We usually will wait for him because I know that's what he wants. He likes to all eat together. And guess what? Most kids do. That's their time. That's the family's time to kind of sit and
Well, I
reflect.
got a video from him the other day, a Snapchat, where you guys were out at a restaurant and you two were eating, and he's just like, "Out with the fam, I'm with the fam." And he was so cute and he was so happy that he
Yes,
was out with his parents.
that's so cute. And we do go out to dinner a lot where we like to dine out, but I cook home during the week. And yeah, even if he's busy, we'll eat together, even if it's late. It's just something that's important for us to do together. It's when kids often open up and talk.
Right.
And just a time to be together.
And
But
you said, or you'll cook. So now, when Freddie cooks, it's, as far as I know, it's kind of elaborate. It's
yes,
lamb chops, or it's a turkey, or, like with a lot of ingredients. Does he only make the big meals?
that's so funny you ask, because working at Pampered Chef, we've done so much research over the years, right? Because our primary customer is females, especially with the name Pampered Chef. And research studies show that when men cook, they make it a project. And when women cook, it's, oh, my meals are done in 30 minutes. So to answer your question, yeah, most of the time when he cooks, it's elaborate, and he's great. He's a great cook. It always tastes good, but
Right.
it's not 30 minutes. Sometimes I'm like, you're starting dinner at 8 o'clock. Like, are we ever going
Yeah.
to eat? But I need to just shut my mouth and let him do his thing, because that's how he cooks. Yeah, he doesn't like to be constrained by but if
Which
I
is
if I work late, he'll figure something out, mostly
right.
going out to dinner.
And that's interesting you say that, because maybe it's because we're brother and sister. We could eat at any time. I'm not a routine person.
Mhm.
So I don't like to say, you know what, it's 7 o'clock. Otherwise, you're
Same.
on your own, you're on your own. Dinner's at 7 and I'm making
Mm.
dinner. If dinner's at 9 and we sit down and it's a great meal, I don't care.
Yeah, same. I'm not rigid like that either. We eat
Right.
when we eat, when we're all hungry, and
See, I
that's that.
don't think many people are like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky there's only the 3 of us now in the house, so it's a little easier. I think when it's bigger families and more commitments, it's probably the rigidity people think makes it easier, right? We're like that with bedtime, we've always been like that with bedtime too. But that's your brother. I come with more rigidity, but my husband is
Right,
like,
and look at,
"What is that?"
even raising my children with Dennis, he was definitely more of that rigid background, but, I don't know, routine is boring. Man, maybe that's why I'm in the job I'm in. I don't do the same thing every single day, and I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think flexibility is nice. Freddie would always say, like, if you put him to bed when there's no noise, right? Like, then he's never going to be able to sleep unless there's no noise. Put him to bed, have a little noise, and then he'll be able to be a little bit more resilient, which is, what we did.
We talked about this before, the sports, and not just sports, any extracurricular. It could be sports, it could be music, anything that they have all this time devoted to something other than their academics makes them learn how to just manage time really well forever as
Absolutely.
grown adults.
Right. It's hard to keep a commitment. And that's what I tell my son, either win or lose or whatever, you're keeping a commitment and you're doing your best. Doing that could never be wrong, right? And I think that will
Mhm.
translate to other things. I always had to try hard at school, at sports. What's the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, right? Where you're born with certain smarts or certain skills. I always had to work hard. My sisters were a little smarter than I was. So that's a skill that I've taken with me wherever whether it's a job, being a wife, being a mom, trying hard is it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Giving it your all is a good
Right.
lesson that sports, I think, teaches at a young age.
Right. Not many people succeed, no matter how smart they are, all right, without the effort and the dedication. I don't really see how you're going to be wildly successful if you're not willing to work. People work hard. Hopefully, they get rewarded for that.
And I think it's working hard. And I think it's also, um, I'll use the word vulnerability, right? Where you can admit where you've not done a good job. I'm speaking at work and particularly, I work with some people who just, there's no vulnerability. It's, I got it. I did it right. Don't look at me. Right. And I try to model for my team. If I mess something up, if I didn't handle something great, right. You got to swallow your pride and just say, look, I didn't handle that great. Here's what I could have done better. Cause then
Right.
they're going to do that. Right. I think as leaders, it's great to see that type of vulnerability at the workplace. When I see one of my leaders doing that, I always call them out and say, that was really great that you did that, right? No, it's perfect. We're still learning.
That's a really interesting thing to say. And and I think you are right. There are times that you mess up. And I say this to my team all the time, like if we mess up, we're not doctors. We can't hurt anybody.
Yes.
So we
Please.
can give it a try and mess up. But as a person, and I had this conversation with somebody who works with me, I was like, if I ever do something or say, like sometimes I'm busy. I'll open up my email and I'll just answer it. I don't say hi, hope you had
Yeah.
a good weekend, happy Monday. Like I'll just jump right in.
Yeah.
And if I don't hit send right away and I reread it, I'm like, I sound I'm nasty.
Yeah.
And sometimes all the time, it's never intentional.
Right. Right. That's very true. Um, there was a time, I do these live cooking shows. And there was a time where it was she was a new chef in the kitchen, and it was her first time helping behind the scenes. Well, we do what we call magic of television, where I cook something and then I say 1 second, and you bring out the finished. Well, the finished has to come from somewhere. So I went to go grab it and they forgot. And it was supposed to be cooked barbecue chicken chopped up, and they forgot it. And I popped my head and and these two girls, they're flipping out. And I said, it's okay, guys. Like, let's figure it out. They were taking pork chops. I don't know what they did, but they figured it out. And
Right.
afterwards, I wasn't mad or anything because it was the way that they reacted, right? They came together and solved most situations where something doesn't go wrong or you don't perform. Like, it's how you handle it, right? It's how you
100%.
step up and say, that was my bad, right? Instead of just ignoring it or pretending like you didn't have anything to do with it.
That's funny. We had a phone call on Friday and we had a webinar and we have the whole thing scheduled. We prepared our speakers. We had practice runs. And by we, I say mostly this girl on my team, and she's the youngest on the team. So we all log on. It's about to go live. And one of the people was in Ireland and it was not recorded. It just, the microphone didn't work. We have all these people waiting for this to start. And I'm on my cell phone with her and she's like, I'm just ending it. And she goes, we have nothing else to do. I have to just end it. And she hit end and all these people were disconnected. And we were telling the story to the company that was hosting it, the platform company. And I said, we hung up and she was probably crying. I said, and I was laughing. Like, what are you going to do?
Right,
It's just a webinar. We'll reschedule
right.
it. We could email everybody, and that's what it is. Um, but you also have to be older and more experienced and confident to not get that upset. So all of that, comes with time. But there's
Yes,
one other thing that I do want to cover because I loved talking about it is, youth sports and what these kids learn being part of a team and how they have to control their emotions on a court, on a field, on the ice, whatever it is, and what an important lesson that teaches them young.
absolutely. We were talking about the NHL, and is it time for the hockey players to, call it quits on the fighting on the ice? And does it cheapen the game? And is it toxic masculinity? Yeah. And when you said, really sports teaches you to control your emotions, that's not controlling your emotions, right? That's really kind of cheapening the game. And when I see my son play hockey and I see him walk away from a situation, I get so proud of him. I'm like, oh my God, like he used his restraint, right? Because when he was 5 or 6, he would not be able to do that. I've really seen that develop, right? And that's a skill you take with you. If he's having trouble at school and someone says something stupid to him, we teach him to walk away, say something witty back and just walk away. Don't engage. It's not
Right. When
worth
it's just verbal, absolutely, you walk away. But that's going to happen to you at all junctures of life. That's
Yep.
going to happen to you in a relationship. That's going to happen to you at work. And, where you defend yourself, where you just are like, you know what, I'm not going to win this battle. I have to walk away. And, no, you're constantly learning. So it could start at that level, and you have a good coach who teaches you, certain things. And like my son's coach was always like, if I have practice at 9 o'clock and you're on the field at 8:45, you're 15
Too
minutes
late.
late.
Yes.
So, you got to get there early, and the benefits of all of that start young. And it does prepare you because you're not going to sail through. You're always going to have a boss that you might not like, or a
Yes.
coworker, or a customer. And how do you handle that?
Right. And you have to be committed, right? You have to have commitment and dedication. And what's the other word? Always forget it. Not tenacity, discipline, discipline, which I think is an important thing to learn at that young age, right? You need discipline throughout your life, right? To keep going, to keep organized, to keep on track at school. Um, and youth sports definitely teaches that. And it's great to watch.
Right. Yeah, it's good discipline. It's good management of everything, of time, of emotions, of behavior, all those things.
And team and being on a team,
Hmm.
right?
Sure.
That's you carry that into your work too, right? Like I think a good teammate at work is somebody, well, I know what I think is not a good teammate because I've seen is people who are just out for themselves, right? Like they just
Right.
want to further their career. I'm really at the point right now that, yeah, being a leader and a manager, that's what is keeping me going, is seeing my team grow and succeed. Because that's where I was not that many years ago. And I didn't always have the best managers and leaders. So I see myself as a coach and I really enjoy that part of my job a lot. I think a lot of people, when they come into management or leadership, they're like, I'm not sure this is for me. Um, I don't know how it can't be. I think you have to learn a lot about yourself, have the vulnerability to say, I was wrong, I didn't do that great. And it's really rewarding. I really enjoy it. Although I have a great team. So,
Right. And I'm extremely lucky. I have the best team as well. But the other thing is that they also have to know, like, You're learning too. I've
Yeah,
done it. I've managed a team for over 20 years, but I'm learning different skills too. Because the day I
absolutely.
stop learning, the day I'm moving on to something else. You got to learn every single day, right? That's what your goal is. But you're also teaching, so you're learning and you're teaching, and it's an interesting. And you're sometimes are teaching when you don't even know that you are. You
Yeah.
know, so you always have to be aware of that. So your actions and things like that are important.
My boss, my current boss once said to me, she said, "You're gonna have tough people on your team, and those are the ones you learn the most about, or you learn the most from."
Right.
Now, she goes, "When you have people like you on a team, you're not gonna learn that much from them." So, it sucks and it's hard when you have those troubled, harder people to manage, but that is I've learned so much from the harder people, right? And it's mostly hindsight. It's like
Right.
after they've left, you're like, "Oh, what could I have done differently? Maybe I kept them around too long," and, but you definitely learn, and that's important.
Right.
That's important. The easy ones you don't learn as much from, but they're a pleasure, you know, to have around.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much.
No
You,
problem. This was fun. I would do it again. This is so fun. I love talking to
oh,
you.
you will do it again for
Do it
sure.
again. Okay.
All
Love
right.
you.
Thanks so much.